Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tiger Talk. Gerard Wellbrock with you as we talk Fort Hays State basketball with women's coach Tony Hobson and men's coach Mark Johnson.
On the Tiger Sports Network, this is Tiger Talk, live from the Golden Q in Hays. The Golden Q, dining, billiards, and more at 809 Ash, the Golden Q. If the game is on, we're open. Tiger Talk is also brought to you by these premier Tiger sponsors. Golden Belt Bank of Hays and Ellis, providing the best in-home loans to the Tiger community since 1920. BTI, your John Deere dealer, with locations in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. The Taco Shop, dine in, carry out, or delivery. You've never had it so good. And G&L Tire and Automotive, complete automotive care and tires for all driving conditions. 201 East 8th on the Bricks in downtown Hays. Now, the voice of the Tigers, Gerard Wellbrock.
And a good Monday afternoon. Welcome into Tiger Talk. This is Gerard Wellbrock. I'll be joined by Fort Hays State head women's basketball coach Tony Hobson, head men's coach Mark Johnson. Fort Hays State back at home this week, a busy week for Fort Hays State. The women actually have a kind of a unique same team twice in 1 week coming up with Nebraska Kearney. Both the Tiger men and women coming off a road swing through southeast Kansas, southwest Missouri. Tiger women winning twice, beats Missouri Southern last Thursday, and then an impressive win over Pittsburgh State on Saturday. The men split the two games, so we'll be talking about all of that. Just one game for the men this week. They'll be playing Saturday afternoon with Nebraska Kearney. That's how the original schedule was. The Tiger women are going to play one of their makeup games with the Lopers, a game that they did not get in. I think it's supposed to be game 3 of the season. They weren't able to get that in because of some COVID issues with Kearney, so they will be making it up. It's on the schedule for tomorrow. Sounds like it's going to be moved on to Thursday, although not officially announced yet by UNK, but looks like that's going to be a Thursday evening game up at the Health and Sports Center, and then Saturday afternoon at Gross Coliseum. And with that, we bring in the head coach of the Fort Hays State women, Tony Hobson. Tony, good to have you with us here today. Nice weekend for your squad. As we said, it kind of sets up a big week of basketball against the only undefeated team in the conference, Nebraska Kearney. Should be a fun week.
Well, it should be. We did have an excellent week and a couple tough places to play, and we've struggled there over the years. I think everybody has, and we played two good games and kind of added to the luster a little bit of these games this week. Instead of just trying to hang in there in the top part of the conference, now we're battling to get to the top. So really the way we're playing, I think we're playing pretty well. Might be the two best teams in the conference playing a couple times this week. Who knows? Kearney certainly is there alone at the top, and they've been nobody's really cracked the code. They've had some close games, but they're just really, really good defensively, and they've got some good depth inside. They've got 2 4-men and 2 5-men. They can just kind of rotate, and just a good, solid team, and they'll be a tough team to beat.
We'll talk more about the Lopers as we move along, and we talked about it before the game on Thursday. I mean, your kids are smart kids. They knew that was looming this week, and they knew the importance of it. And it's always a challenge. You're on the road, and you got to win that first one for Saturday with Pitt State to be important, and for these 2 games this week. And I thought your team really did a good job of taking care of business, kind of a tight first quarter, and then just slowly and methodically pulled away. And I thought played other than a stretch in that first quarter, mainly we just didn't score offensively. And then I think the start of the second quarter, the same thing, played some really, really good basketball all night long up and down in Joplin.
Well, and that's, they're so physical, and they usually defensively, they're just straight man. They fight through all the screens. They run through screens. They're just usually a really tough team to play, and it wasn't really any different. I think once we kind of got used to the physicality and understanding that as you cut through the lane, most of the time you're going to have somebody there. You're going to have to drag somebody along with you. So it really needs to be a tough cut. And I thought we just really adjusted to how the game was, number one, being called, and number two, being played by the players. And I don't think they adjusted very well, and it showed in the third quarter with a lot of foul calls and a lot of free throws shot by us. So really liked the way we adjusted, and we didn't shoot the ball very well at all on Thursday compared to how we did on Saturday. I mean, if we have the shooting game like we did Saturday on Thursday, it's a 45 point game. But we certainly did enough to get by, and we shot 32 free throws. So I guess that was the difference. I mean, we go from 32 free throws on Thursday to 6 on Saturday. So just two totally different types of games. And I thought we played really well on Thursday.
That's kind of the unique thing about basketball, and no knock on officiating, but I mean, you just get a crew that maybe calls it one way, a crew that calls a little bit tighter. It's a whole different flow, and Thursday was unique. They had issues at the scorers table, the shot clock, the game clock. It was hard to get a lot of rhythm in that game, and then I think it kind of lent to the officiating. It was just a kind of a discombobulated night, starting with the shot clock, a lot of stoppages for resets. It just seemed it was hard to get any rhythm and flow in that one.
Well, yeah, I mean, I like on occasion to have a conversation with the officials. I could never find them. They were always over at the table. So I just started hanging out over by the scores table because I knew they would be over there every other play.
Pretty much.
I don't know if they don't know how to add down there or push a button or whatever. I mean, because we have, during camp, we have some of our 4th and 5th grade campers running the clocks, and they do great compared to that. So I don't know what the issue was, but I think it really led to to the officials getting frustrated.
I agree.
And then I think that showed on maybe how they called the game. They started tightening it up a lot and calling it a little closer, but it's understandable. I mean, it was, I'll guarantee you, what would you say, 12 to 15 times they had to be over at the table adjusting the clock. And it's too bad. It really did kind of stop the flow and probably lengthen the game by 10 to 15 minutes.
Yeah, it was a long game.
They had to go to the monitor several times. So I thought with all those things figured in, I thought we really maintained our composure well and our concentration. And we're just getting so much better at like running the break. We're finding Jaden early, getting it to her, and then sprinting the floor. And everybody knows that if they're open, she will get it to them. And she's pretty solid with the ball and doesn't turn it over very much. So I think we're coming together at the right time, playing pretty well.
Well, Tigers get a big win on Thursday, 70-49. Set up a big one with Pitt State, and maybe even bigger because you only played them once this year. And, boy, the Tigers came out firing on Saturday. We'll talk about the game with the Gorillas and, of course, preview more the Lopers of Nebraska Kearney, who the Tigers will face twice this week. We'll do that when we return. We are live at the Golden Q, the home of Tiger Talk, where the Cuban sandwich, their new Thursday special, their house-smoked pulled pork, sliced ham, Dijon mustard, pickles, and Swiss cheese on a ciabatta bun, served with fries and tots, and a pop for $9.49 plus tax. The Cuban sandwich, their new Thursday special here at the Golden Q. We'll take a time out and more with women's coach Tony Hobson right here on the Tiger Sports Network, built by Paul Wertenberger Construction. Yeah, big three-pointer there by Madison Mitty. She scored 7 in that contest for the Tigers, going 2 of 4 from 3, and really played well all weekend. That was some of the action from Thursday night in Joplin. Tiger women knock off the Southern Lions, and then got them ready for Saturday afternoon in Pittsburgh, John Lance Arena against the Gorillas. Always a great matchup. Pitt got off to that slow start, 0-3, but you could see they'd kind of figured things out and were playing some really good basketball, had won 7 in a row prior to losing to Nebraska Kearney on Thursday, and we're right there with the Lopers. And obviously, when you shoot 70% in the first quarter on the road, you got a feeling you're going to get off to a good start. You look at, Pitt State's numbers were really good in that first quarter, and yet you had a convincing lead just because, it was unbelievable to watch your team shoot the basketball in that really all day long, but especially that first quarter. It seemed like no one would miss.
Well, and it came from so many different places that it wasn't like it was, you have one person kind of get hot once in a while and the other team focuses on them, they can kind of shut them down. But it was several different spots and inside and outside, on the break, out of half court. So it came from a lot of different areas. So that's what was pleasing about it was, it was Jaden and Whitney, and then you had Katie inside, hit one, Bergman goes to the basket, whatever. It just came from everybody. So really good first quarter, got off to a good start, and kind of just set the tone. It's a good thing that we were shooting well because they're so hard to completely contain. You just aren't going to do it. They're going to get pretty good looks, and you just hope they don't make them all. But they're a nightmare matchup situation. They isolate everybody. They go a lot of one-on-one, which is a little different in women's basketball than the norm. But they've got some really effective one-on-one players. So I thought defensively we did a reasonable job on them, and it was a tall task for sure because they're hard matchups.
A little bit different lineup. You got Katie Wagner back in there for her second start, 16 points, 9 boards, and I'm guessing a lot of that had to do with just what Pitt State offered, and kind of one of those you have to adjust what you do to what they do, and obviously you look like a genius because it worked wonderfully.
That was more to do with her than me. She made me look good, but a lot of times that's the way it is when I change a lineup. First of all, I don't change lineups a lot, but when I do, it's usually not necessarily that somebody did something wrong. It's that somebody else gives us something a little different, and they just first of all, their emphasis and their focus is not on their 5-man scoring. They just don't score very much. So I thought I could give up a little bit of size in there so we could switch screens on the perimeter and try to stay in front of their guards and their 4-man that is a good player. So that was primarily what the thing was with Katie in there instead of Liv or Jess. We can just automatically switch all screens. There's no indecision. It's not like, hey, we're going to switch everything. We're not going to switch the 5. We're going to do this, and it kind of just clears your head, and you can just go. And she's a good rebounder. She's the best rebounder we have. Goes every time, and she proved it, and she can operate in there pretty good for a freshman or a senior, I guess.
Talk about Jaden Hobbs. Seems like every time on this show, and another just huge game. 26 points, 12 assists, career high for her, one off the school record, and just felt like she was in control from the opening tap. Hit some threes, drove to the basket, and it's just fun to watch when a player is playing like that. But yet, she's putting up huge scoring numbers. I think because she's shooting such at a high rate, but still distributing and involving her teammates and making everybody around her play better. It's been fun to watch.
Well, her little involvement here since she's got here to Fort Hays State has been remarkable. She had a good year last year. She's all conference, and but it's nowhere close to what the level is now she's playing. People need to come out and watch her. She's probably she's probably as good, probably the best guard that's ever played here. The way she's playing now, she distributes it. She's shooting 56 or 7% from the field, same from the 3-point line. And I don't have her guarding the ball most of the time because I don't want her to expend the energy. We like to use up the floor, and I've got some other kids that are good at it. But when it comes down to crunch time, she's also a good defender. and takes a lot of charges. So she's playing at a high level. The other kids like playing with her because she's such a good passer, and she's really taken over kind of the leadership role of the team. And I was worried Thursday because, we played her a lot of minutes of being ready for Saturday. And so I cut down her minutes on Saturday to 40. And she was just playing so good. You're always worried about just breaking our rhythm. And you just, it's as long as a kid has the stamina to go, sometimes you just have to go with them.
Well, she's done that a few times this year, and of course Pitt's got some good guards, and she was up to the task, and the Tigers get a big 85-73 win, and it sets up a big week as we talked about at the Open, Fort Hays State and Nebraska Kearney. We'll talk a little bit more about the matchups this week between the Tigers and Lopers with our final segment here with women's coach Tony Hobson. We are live at the Golden Q in Hays, where they have over 35 TVs, so you'll never miss the big game. That's why they say if the game's on, they're open. It's the Golden Q, 2 blocks east of campus. Tiger Talk also brought to you by BTI. They're your John Deere dealer. Locations in Buckland, Great Bend, Greensburg, Hoxie, Ness City, and Pratt. BTI, our family, in partnership with your family. More with Coach Hobson after the break. This is Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network, built by Paul Wertenberger Construction.
Fact: 8th Street Liquor is where good times start. Next fact: 8th Street Liquor has the best selection and prices on beer, liquor, and wine. Okay, I don't want to bore you with all the facts, but the fact of the matter is, you just can't get better than 8th Street Liquor. Yep, 8th Street Liquor, where good times start. That's the fact. Jack? Oh yes, they have plenty of Jack too.
Yeah, part of a 30-point first quarter for the Tigers on Saturday, the most in a quarter. Jaden 11 of 18 from the floor, 4 of 6 from the three-point line. Quickly, before we get to talking about the Lopers again, I thought another good weekend for Whitney Randall. 21 on Saturday, 5 assists. And you touched on it after a game a few weeks ago. You had a quick conversation about her rebounding, and it seems to have taken hold. Her rebounding numbers have slowly gotten better, and that's been a big part of the reason you guys have played well here down the stretch. You've been a better rebounding team, and she's a big part of it.
Well, she's just such an athlete that with her, I think it's just a matter of just having it foremost in her mind that that's what she needs to do, because it didn't take very long after I told her she just really needed to concentrate on it, that she's had 2 or 3 great rebounding games. And the thing is, it seems like she gets that going, and now she's shooting the ball better, which we need her to do. And she's just scoring at a high rate and taking good shots, and she can score anyway possible. I mean, she can drive it left or right. She shoots the 3. She's good in the post, mid range. So Whitney's playing really well right now, and we just need her to keep that up.
All right, Nebraska Kearney, again, nothing official, but it's probably going to be Thursday and Saturday now. Thursday up in Kearney, and it's Saturday afternoon, and they're 12-0. You kind of touched on it. They've had some close calls, yet they found a way to win. One of them was in Pittsburgh. I think went down 6 with 7 or so to go, and Pitt couldn't quite hold them at bay. And you look at it, pretty much the same team they had last year that was really good and finished 3rd in the conference. Good defensive team, good post play, they've really got the total package. Needless to say, both games are going to be challenging games, but certainly games, if you play well, you've got every chance to be in and win.
Oh, sure. I don't think there's anybody right now that if we play well that we can't beat on a given night for sure. But Kearney finished 3rd in the conference last year, and that was losing 2 out of their last 3 in the regular season, and they finished 3rd. They have every player back. They had 14 kids on their team. They had every kid back this year, plus another addition that started for them the prior year, and they lost because of a knee and set out. So, and a freshman that's playing some pretty good minutes for them. So, you would have to expect them to be where they're at. I knew they would be up there near the top, if not at the top, and they've kind of just picked up where they left off last year, and they're a veteran squad. They've played a lot of minutes together, and they just do a good job. They're just a tough team. They play really good D, and I'm just happy that we're in the position that we're in after replacing 4 starters last year. Just to be in the conversation, to be up here where we're at, I'm just really, really pleased with what we're getting done right now, and we'll just see how we can. We'll have a good measure right now of how we match up with them here in a couple of days, it sounds like.
Yeah, it's rare to go back-to-back same opponent. I know it's happened a few times. The MIAA used to have that weird scheduling where you'd play half your schedule, then you'd flip and maybe a week later play the same. And I know Lincoln, I think, one year in a conference, you played them to end of regular season and turned around first round of the tournament. But kind of rare to have back-to-back opponents. And in this case, with a day off in between, that'll be kind of a unique experience for everybody.
Well, it will be. It's kind of weird. You don't have much time to make adjustments, but, it's going to come down to, forget the X's and O's. It's going to come down to whoever makes shots and whoever's ready to play and whoever wants to rebound that night. I mean, it's the players will decide who wins these games, and as they usually do. I know coaches think we have all kinds of control over everything, and that's a myth. Once game time hits, the players, it's just going to come down to the same stuff: free throws, rebounding, who wants to guard somebody, and hopefully we're just ready to go and we can compete with them.
Looking forward to it. Should be a fun week of basketball, Coach. As always, we appreciate your time, and we will see you in Kearney.
Okay. Thanks, Gerard.
That's Tony Hobson, coach of the Tiger women, again in Kearney. Looks like Thursday night and then Saturday afternoon at home against the Lopers. 2 big games for really both teams. We will take a break. When we come back, we will have head men's coach Mark Johnson join us for the remainder of the program. We are live at the Golden Q, where their burger of the month, still have a little bit of a time to get in here the rest of the week. The return of the McBurger is always fresh 3rd-pound beef patty on a brioche bun layered with house-smoked pork belly and topped with creamy white cheddar, mac, and shredded cheese, $7.99 plus tax. The burger of the month for January, the Mac Burger, right here at the Golden Q. Head men's coach Mark Johnson joins us after the break. We're on Tiger Talk on the Tiger Sports Network, built by Paul Wertenberger Construction.
Fact: 8th Street Liquor is where good times start. Next fact: 8th Street Liquor has the best selection and prices on beer, liquor, and wine. Okay, I don't want to bore you with all the facts, but the fact of the matter is, you just can't get better than 8th Street Liquor. Yep, 8th Street Liquor, where good times start. That's the fact. Jack? Oh yes, they have plenty of Jack too.
That was a big play on Thursday night. Tigers beat the Lions in overtime, 102-94, and then lose a tough one to Pitt State on Saturday afternoon. Welcome back to Tiger Talk, brought to you in part today by the Golden Belt Bank of Hayes at Ellis, banking one story at a time. Visit them at goldenbeltbank.com. Also by the Taco Shop, dine and carry out, or you can use the Taco Shop app for contactless delivery. The Taco Shop, you've never had it so good. Joined now by men's coach Mark Johnson, and a wild game on Thursday, got a nice win, knocked off Missouri Southern, and then just felt like Saturday maybe just didn't have enough in the tank, at least at the beginning of that game, and that got out of hand. And credit your guys for getting back and making it a contest. But you win that first one in Joplin, you kind of get greedy and would have loved to have the sweep, but just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, that weekend, if you just look at it, it's like we've said for a number of years, our league, there's just no bad teams. You look at all 4 teams that were involved in that road trip, us, Kearney, Pitt, and Southern, everybody went 1-1, and like we always say a lot of times, it's not who you play, it's when you play. And, we came out and played pretty well against Missouri Southern. Obviously, Caleb and Jared were terrific. Alvin had a nice game. We made big plays down the stretch. Kind of did some silly things to put it to overtime, but we're able to rally up and come away with a great win, and I think the emotion, not only the physical toll Thursday, but probably the emotional toll affected us on Saturday. Now you come out Saturday and like Kim Anderson said after the game, he's like, hey, I don't know where that first half come from. That's the hardest and the most focused and the best we've played all year. And we are the exact opposite of that. And then you go down and you look at the Kearney game, and Kearney loses by 20 to Missouri Southern. I mean, I think Kearney kind of had the Thursday hangover like we did. Southern was ready to play after the loss, and you just, you got to learn from that. You got to be ready to play in this league every single night, whether if you're playing Northwest Missouri or I don't know who right now in the standings, whether it be Newman or Northeastern State. If you're not ready to play, you're going to get beat. And we just weren't ready to play on Saturday. Like I said, to our guys' credit, we did a great job in the second half of probably being one or two shots away from making it interesting. I don't know if we pull it off, but make it a lot more interesting to that. So give our guys credit for that. I mean, I thought the first half was really the first time that's happened to us all year.
Yeah, I think you had 15 and 2 possessions down 15. I think you had missed a shot and had a turnover. And you score there, even if maybe hit a 3 and make it a 12-point game, who knows? Going back to Thursday, though, the fact you won after the start, 14-1 and 16-2. I think you're down 14 early on. But you guys didn't panic and then got a few shots to fall. And it was remarkable how quickly you made up that deficit in that first half. They had that great start. Then you had an equally impressive run about midway through, and then it was game on the rest of the night.
Well, I mean, you look at just both games. That's why sometimes, as coaches, I think, it's not panic, but you just know how quickly today's game it changes. The three-point shot has changed so much. No lead is safe. Now you factor in the shot clock being down to 30 seconds. I mean, things can happen in a hurry either direction. So, when we get up a big lead the first 5 minutes of the game, you can't lose your edge, you know what I mean? And then same thing, you can't panic. When we want to get off to better starts. You look at we had an abysmal start again on Saturday, but I always, you can overcome a bad start. You can't overcome a bad start of the second half. There's not enough time in the game. And I thought at least at Southern, it happened in the first 5 minutes of the game. So we had plenty of time to not panic and just keep plugging along. And like you said, it happened. We were right back there pretty quick. And that was the key to the game, to giving us that opportunity.
Yeah, they outscore you 20-6 in the first roughly 8 minutes. And then you respond over about the next 8 minutes with a 21-6 run, and actually got a 1-point lead at that point. So and then it was a great game, and obviously you touched on it. Jared and Caleb both go for 32. It's the most points combined by two players to score 30 in a game. It's only the third time, and I imagine most schools would have this, third time that two players have scored 30 or more in the same game. And kind of ironic that the last time it happened, it was the same two guys did it twice in the season. Mark Harris, folks remember the Hall of Fame point guard, and Ronnie Tompkins on a really good team that made the NAIA National Tournament with Bill Morris in '88. They both did it twice in the season. These two did it, and it was fun to watch, and kind of did it different ways. Caleb hit some big threes, and then Jared just kept grinding and had just a monster game, not only scoring but rebounding and all the things that he does so well.
Yeah, I thought Jared, he's not necessarily a great offensive rebounder, but he was that night. He got a lot of second chance points, got fouled at the rim on offensive putbacks and that. And then Caleb, he shot the ball. He was 3 of 5 from 3. He struggled to shoot the ball. I think he's at 29% on the year. And that night he was 3 for 5. And then, Caleb's an athletic, strong kid. And, Cam Martin and them, Cam, I don't think they can't afford him getting foul trouble. You saw what happens when he fouls out. So when we set a ball screen, he's not really pressuring and getting after it. And with Caleb's quickness and speed, he can turn that corner and get to that rim in a hurry before you can catch up if you're not really getting out there and getting after it and stopping it right away. And those guys were really, really good. And like I said, Alvin had 19 and, Jordan came in and got 9 rebounds. I think it was all, those two guys did great for that. And, you show you at Northwest at times when you have two guys that are playing at a high level in a game, you don't need other guys. You look at not only those two, but then you throw Alvin in, 3 starter. We had 3 players score 83 points. Well, usually 83 points is enough to win a game. So you really don't need other guys to step in and do a whole lot.
Took 95 in this one. You got 102. Another 100-plus point game against Southern that goes to overtime. They did that in the conference tournament one year, but for whatever reason, it seems like it's a crazy game. And you touched on it, how maybe didn't close it well, and it went to overtime. But to your guys' credit, they didn't let that affect them and found a way to win in overtime. But as you said, well, I thought after the game, maybe a learnable or teachable moment on how to close games. That has at times in some tight ones. We saw that early in the season, and you overcame it this time. But I guess some of the pitfalls of a young team is learning how to close out some of these games.
Yeah, we just understanding the importance of doing things right and executing. We're not struggling in those moments because we're, I don't even know when I say decision, obviously doing stuff right is decision making, but our biggest problem is just even getting lined up and guarding the correct man. You know what I mean? And doing stuff, running a play or switching the ball screen when we're supposed to switch a ball screen. Those are the things that's just so frustrating about when we get in close games. I understand you turn it over because you're nervous or you miss a shot or you do that. Some of the things we're doing at the end of games, obviously has to be attributed to just young and not really being in the moment a lot, because like I said, some of our stuff is pretty basic, and it's very frustrating that we're doing those things, and hopefully we get better. And then Missouri Southern, I remember when we played in the conference tournament, and we beat them in double overtime. The score was like 110 to 108, and Karan McKenzie's like, "Coach, we need to play like this all the time." You're like, well, a lot of times to play fast and score a lot of points, the defense has to let you hurry up and score quickly in each possession. You know what I mean? And that's kind of Southern's game, up and down. You're allowed to shoot it pretty quick and all that. And there's nothing, that's not a criticism. It's just different styles. But I always say sometimes to play fast and score a lot of points, the other team has to really help you a lot in doing that. But we were able to, like I said, we did a great job of running offense. I thought we ran some of our better offense all year.
Well, Tigers win that one 102-94, lose at Pitt State. Only one game this week. They'll be back at home as they take on Nebraska Kearney on Saturday afternoon. We'll talk about that as we move along. We're live at the Golden Q over 35 TV, so you'll never miss the big game. That's why they say if the game's on, we're open. And come here on Thursday, it's the Cuban sandwich, their new Thursday special. House smoked pulled pork, sliced ham, Dijon mustard, pickles, and Swiss cheese on a ciabatta bun, served with fries and tots for $9.49 with the drink here at the Golden Q, 2 blocks east of campus in Hayes. We'll take our final break. Back with more with Fort Hays State coach Mark Johnson on Tiger Talk here on the Tiger Sports Network, built by Paul Wurtenberger Construction.
Fact: 8th Street Liquor is where good times start. Next fact: 8th Street Liquor has the best selection and prices on beer, liquor, and wine. Okay, I don't want to bore you with all the facts, but the fact of the matter is, you just can't get better than 8th Street Liquor. Yep, 8th Street Liquor, where good times start. That's the fact. Jack? Oh yes, they have plenty of Jack too.
Yeah, it was quite a swing, and got the Tigers back in it with a little over 8 minutes to go on Saturday. Tiger Talk brought to you by G&L Tire and Automotive. Complete automotive care, tires for all driving conditions. It's G&L Tire, 201 East 8th on the bricks in downtown Hayes. Maybe you're realizing today you need some upgrade in tires with all the snow sliding around. Stop by G&L. They will take care of you. I guess that one of the bright spots out of the weekend was the play of Jordan Pumphrey. You mentioned 9 boards against Missouri Southern, and that's an area you've been hoping he could improve on. Then he goes out and scores 19 points, goes 7 of 11 from the floor. If he can, maybe meet in the middle in both of those numbers, that can give you a shot in the arm here down this last half of the conference season.
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, depth has been a factor all season long, and he just needs to make sure he's focused on what he did Thursday. I think at times, like I said, players, how do I get on the floor? How do I get more minutes? They get caught up in points. You know what I mean? And at times you see he's an interesting player. He's just a real crafty on the offensive end. I wouldn't say he's the quickest, greatest athlete by any means, but you look the way Pitt guarded us in the first half and how they pressured. He was really the only guy that could still, find a way to get to the rim. He's just, he just kind of got a knack. He handles the ball pretty well. He's got a good feel about how to get there and all that. So hopefully it'd be really good if he would continue, because we need some help. You look at our team, at semester break, we were averaging, I want to say 11.3 turnovers per game, fourth fewest in the league. Now we're at 19 since Christmas break. The last 5 games we're at 19. Well, that's dead last in the league. Shooting from 3, I don't remember the percentage. I'm going to say 37, 30, somewhere around there. But we were in the top 5 in 3-point shooting. And since we've come back from Christmas, we're 28%, probably dead last. So, since we come back from Christmas, we average 19 turnovers a game and shoot 28% from 3. That's hard to win, and I think that's something Jordan can help us with, the shooting. I know he hasn't shot it that well. It's hard to shoot it well when you get limited opportunities to shoot the basketball. So I think that's something that can improve. I think we get Gabe out there a little bit more. He's still, dragging that leg around a little bit, but he's going to take care of the ball better than some of our other guys. He's got a little bit better feel. He's a bigger, stronger kid, 6'4", and then he helps our defense. So you think maybe those two guys maybe get our bench going, play with a little bit better depth than we have so far.
But Gabe played, 11 minutes Saturday, 5 points, 4 boards, and you can still see he's not 100%, but you can see what he brings. There's some stability out there on defense and a good three-point shooter as well, and hopefully that leg just keeps feeling better and better, and he can be a contributing factor also.
Well, no doubt. I mean, he's like I said. I mean, it's a big loss not having him out there this year, and I don't know how. Same thing. Hopefully Nige will be getting. But again, it's even if Nige, it's going to take them weeks. And we're running out of weeks in the season. Obviously, Elijah, all those guys would have made a huge difference in our season for sure. The thing, like I think the learning point for B and Gilbert. Gabe plays 11 minutes, has 4 rebounds. B has 1 rebound. Gilbert has 2. We need help on the glass. And he does that. He helps our execution. He just defensively, he makes up for other people's mistakes. And B does that great too on defense too. Caleb, it'd be nice when you can get B and Caleb and Gabe out there together. Those 3 guys, they're all pretty good athletes. They're all physical players. They all help. They make up for other guys' mistakes. All of a sudden, we can become a pretty. I think a pretty good defensive team. And like I said, sometimes as fans and parents and everybody, like I said, we always forget we play just as many possessions on defense as we do offense, and everybody just pays attention to what they do on our sport. They have to go back and guard, and that, if we can get more stops, we're going to be better. And I think that's where Gabe can really help this team on that end of the floor for sure.
Well, but only about 30 seconds or so left. Nebraska-Kearney, again, a blowout that you made interesting down the stretch. They're always good, playing some pretty good ball. Another tough challenge on Saturday.
Yeah, they're playing better. The key to them is how well they shoot the 3. They shot it great against us. They shot it great. When they've won, they've shot it well. And then you look overall, their 3-point percentage, they're in the bottom 2 or 3 in the league. So, it really comes down to, like any team, but I think them especially, they're not the most explosive team, so they got to rely on a lot of threes at times. And when they're shooting well, they're as good as anybody in the conference.
All right, sounds good. We'll see you Saturday.
All right, thanks, Gerard.
Mark Johnson, coach of the Tigers. That's going to do it for Tiger Talk. It's brought to you by these Tiger Premier sponsors: the Taco Shop, the Golden Belt Bank of Haynes and Ellis, BTI, and G&L Tire and Automotive, and of course the Golden Q, the home of Tiger Talk, just east of campus on A Street. The Golden Q. If the game's on, they're open. For women's coach Tony Hobson, men's coach Mark Johnson, this is Gerard Wellbrock. So long, everyone.